This is a story how the Seoul city overcome the difficulty in implementation of the walking project. Sometime looking back the past period, I had struggled to overcome difficulty to implement some project. I always some practical obstacle in the way of implementation. This is just a snapshot of how the mass transit have been evolved in history of Seoul. Maybe back to 1940s, just walking is a major mass transit. But as city evolved and growing, so the mass transit changed from tram, the city party. Now we have some dual mass transit system, bus and subway, as the city grew to the global mega city. But sometimes people, whenever we're talking about walkable cities, walking is important, but people ask, are you going back to 1940? No. Those days, there was nothing but walking. But now, we are trying to make cities walkable place in which the walking is preferred to driving. Like the many Asian cities, the Asian mega cities, the Seoul had suffered a very serious transportation problem coming from the huge inflow of population from countryside, also rapidly increasing vehicle, followed by the economic growth. For almost 10 years, from 1980 to end of 1990s, we had nothing but the construction of infrastructure just to accommodate very urgent increasing traffic demand from population and also vehicles. But we approached end of 1990s and turned the history into the first century. We have to think twice about the direction of policy we had carried over the past 10 years, up until we continue to supply the facility. At time, we quite satisfied with the level of infrastructures. Suddenly, the traffic demand approached us quite different way. It coming from some environmental problems, air pollution, or the city's continuous sprawl. Every day, more than 2 million vehicles are crossing the border of the city. For 10 years, we have struggled to supply the level of infrastructure, just accommodate traffic demand in Seoul area. But suddenly, the other demand from outside inflow to Seoul area. But still, we continue to expand and also expand the space of the road in existing road, the marginalizing pedestrian to maybe elevated viaduct. Even children on their commuting to and from school, not strike, just bump the shoulders, aware of some safety. But even if there's a lot of sacrifice from citizens, their right to walk, but there was no significant betterment in traffic demand. Still, vehicles were full of every inch of space in the street. because of urban sprawl, the distance of commuting getting longer and longer. Now the average distance exceeds the 30 kilometers. At time, in 2002, we need to show some paradigm shift project to citizens, to politicians, all stakeholders. We had long direction. We need to change direction to make city more affordable, reliable space. So we initiate removing the overhead urban highway that had covered the stream. We had a small stream running the downtown Seoul area. We could many audience to remember the name of the stream, the Cheonggyecheon. In modernization process, the city covered the stream to make urban highway. Now we demolished the urban highway and return the stream to citizens. The most serious difficult is not the technical problem, not the vision. Problem is how to persuade the citizens, how to persuade politics. There's nothing. There's no chaos, even we demolish the whole urban highway. But nobody believes. What can happen if we destroy the urban highway that every 180,000 vehicles use? There's a lot of argument, conflict over the issue of traffic chaos. But I came up with one idea. There's nothing here. We had closed several times before. Somebody said, what are you talking about? Actually, we closed many times to maintenance the facilities. Did you recognize we closed the highway? On the reason we closed highway for maintenance, the citizens voluntarily changed their means or took some alternative route for their driving. So barely we persuade citizens and through some consensus. So after 3 years construction, finally we returned the stream to citizens. After watching the remarkable change in downtown Seoul area, citizens' way of thinking become to change. After that, we initiate more bold, more courageous the project to change the atmosphere of the street. We call it under the name of road diet. We continue demolition overpass for vehicles. Even the main street in center of Seoul, it has street with 100 meters wide. We made the central part of the street into the plazas. Even some street, we ban entering vehicle into the section, only the buses, pedestrian, and bicycle. But it wasn't still easy. Many stakeholders even request stay of execution to stop the implementation, to court or report city employer for their abuse of power to police department. But even if it's very difficult time and the process was slow, but sometimes we recognize the consensus was rising. because the stakeholders watching and afflicting before and after project recognize they get more safer environment and also more they're safe. Even storekeepers found their sale was rising because there were more pedestrians in the street. The one is also the rent price is sharply rising compared to average increase in Seoul area. After 5 years struggle, we surprised to hear one community visited the department to ask to demolish the facility, the overpass in their neighborhood. Almost 10 years of endurance, the city government quite inspired watching the consensus rising from citizens. This year, the city government announced quite ambitious project to make Seoul walkable, more reliable place, maybe with 5-year plan. To continue, we continue to widen the space for pedestrians, which means we don't say it's just give more space to pedestrians. It's just balancing space between vehicle and walking. We created logos like this, Let's Walk Seoul. In this project, until 2020, the city government totally renovate the downtown Seoul area, give more space to pedestrians, more space to bike, narrow the lane for vehicles, and also strengthen the road of buses and subway. 2 major projects is already under progress. The one is overpass, the passing through the Seoul station. It closed for vehicles, and the converting those overpass for the way for walking. In second pictures, this is the road just across the city hall. There was an old building, but because it's quite old, outdated, it became some sore throat to landscape. And also it had been built quite a long time ago. It protrudes over the architecture line. We exchange building with the land we own, and we demolished the building. After demolished the building, the small, quite pretty Angelical Cathedral came up. We are very anticipating to proceed the whole process with cooperation of citizens and also many experts. Every project, we measure the effectiveness of a project with 3 standards. How to get straight from one point to other location. How to get the straight, the shortest way within certain range. And also even if there is some high density in business areas, but still we lower the moving density by eliminating barriers, also make the street quite consistent After announced by mayors, the 25 district heads also followed their participation. Every 25 head officers initiate some local project to convert some local section or local street into more walkable spaces. So we are anticipating we have quite different landscape maybe in a few years. But it's just a short presentation. But with my experience, the most difficult thing and the even more important thing is not the sharing vision, sharing the values, or even if it's still matters. More important thing, how we drew consensus, how we break the conventional wisdom that the mobility is only important through the vehicles. I'm very honored to be here to join Walk21 and also the extraordinary audience flow. But I wish somebody, the audience here, would play a pivotal role in sharing not also vision, but not only vision, but also their experience of overcoming difficulties. How to, through the experience, consensus of the citizen. That's the shortest way to achieve our goal, to make cities more reliable and walkable places. Thank you.